Hey guys, welcome back to Cold Antler Farm, and I'm here with one of our newest members. This is Jack White. Most farmers are animal lovers, especially people that raise livestock, and that's because we've dedicated our lives and our livelihoods in many cases to raising animals. I spend all of my time around animals. I sleep with dogs. I ride my horse. I use them for draft work. I raise pigs and poultry, and I have dairy goats that I depend on for milk and soap and cheese. And I got turkeys back here, which you can see the boys, Lucas and Brian, they're still here. Animals are a huge part of my life. I just named a few. I just got more meat rabbits at the Scatticoke Poultry Swap. I've got Jack White down here hanging out. Animals are it, man. So I love animals, but I would never call myself an animal person. And I say that in quotes because I guess I am an animal person. My life is dependent on them, but animals are my work partners, and they're my transportation, and they're my livelihood. And so there is a much more, what I'm going to call, mature relationship to animals. And I think a lot of farmers share this. And one of the biggest threats to having that mature relationship with animals, in the sense of, having them as part of your business and part of your farm, means dealing with people who are very certain about what they think about animals, with very little information about actual animal biology and society and food chains and anything. There's a lot of heart in the animal world, and that's good, but it's also kind of creepy to those of us who depend on a very different way of living with animals to pay the bills. For example, that Jack White, the goat you just saw, he is for sale. I will use that money and pay taxes on that income as part of my livelihood. It's enough, hopefully. The $60 I'm asking for that dairy buck, I'm hoping, there he is back there, that money is going to help pay for, this month's electric bill. That's important. And I'm depending on it. And if I don't sell him, I'm not going to keep him as a beautiful pet and, go, backpacking in the Alps with him. I'm going to eat him. I am going to have him butchered at an adult weight, probably in the fall. And I will have a lot of great taco meals, and he will aid the farm that way. Either he will take away from the grocery bill and have good quality, beautiful meat in this farm, or he will be sold to somewhere else where he can live the dream of being a dairy buck, which is pretty much the best job in the ag world. I mean, you need one buck to serve 200, I think up to 200 does, so good work if you can find it. It's windy here. I hope the audio quality isn't too bad. So my life is public. Between the blog and my books and this vlog channel, people who maybe don't know a lot about farm animals and farm life get a view into it. And they've made my life a little hard at times. I've had animals stolen from my property, confiscated for being abused, for things like a rabbit whose hair they felt was not properly matted and should be shaved. These were Angora rabbits in winter. I didn't care if they had some matted hair. I wasn't going to cut their coat in the middle of a New England winter when I lived in Vermont. Or, for example, another woman had said that there was too much, I wasn't cleaning out my sheep pen. What I was doing was a deep bedding method where you put clean hay always on top, and the layer of compost rises, always with a clean top layer. But the important thing is a goat or a sheep on the cold ground is nowhere near as warm as 2 feet of compost, which is creating literal heat below them and insulating them from the frozen ground. It's important. And no, it wasn't cleaned out. It was covered up with clean layers on top, because that's what makes animals more comfortable. But if you know nothing about raising livestock, you think that, I'm just being lazy and covering up shit. So a lot of pet people have gotten into farming recently, at least in homesteading. And the idea is that every animal can live just like their dogs that they love and name and call fur babies, which is a term I hate. But that's not true for all animals. There's definitely a scale here of import. I have animals that matter a lot more to me. Like, I would crawl over a sea of zombies to save my dogs. They are my family. My horse means the world to me too. But I would, if in a survival situation, I would feed my horse to those dogs, And down the list, with sheep and goats coming in next, and then below them, we're looking at rabbits and poultry, and pigs. Pigs are actually probably the lowest of the list, just because they're the one animal I've only ever raised for food, and that's it. And if you think pigs are amazing, adorable, intelligent animals, they're all those things, but they're also vicious and have bitten me. And I've seen one pig shot, and the pig next to it in the pen look at it and then start eating it. They don't even jump away at the sign of a bullet. But yet there's people who say pigs are as smart as dogs, so don't eat them. Compassion is important, but so is thinking. And understanding that not everyone shares your ideas and values doesn't make them bad people, it just makes them different people. You have every right to raise your pot-bellied pig or your house rabbit. Enjoy it, give it a good life, enjoy the benefits of having that pet. But it's also okay for me to have turkeys I breed for food. It's okay for me to raise meat rabbits. My meat rabbit video is my most popular video and my most disliked video on the blog for that reason. And it's okay for me to have pigs because I really like ham and bacon. You need to be cautious of who you let into your farm. You need to be cautious about what you share online. I'm amazed at what other farmers will post on Twitter, not because there's anything wrong with those pictures, but there are things I see, like dairy cows standing in a pen before milking, and there is fecal matter and mud up to like above their hooves. If I posted that, there'd be 10 people that would be calling the ASPCA and saying, I do not raise my animals in appropriate conditions. Because people who don't actually live in a farming area or work on a farm, they think all agriculture is this, I know guys, is like a county fair level display all the time, like perfect white shavings, everyone's shampooed and glorified, my cow's tail has been perfectly trimmed to be exactly so many inches from the ground. That's not how it is, guys. It's scrappy, never unhealthy, never dangerous, never neglectful. I mean, we all make mistakes when we started out. I sure as hell did. But, I have some sheep that are going on 12 years old. They don't look as good as my 2-year-old sheep, Sometimes on a farm that doesn't, fill their animals up with constant antibiotics, sometimes a couple of those animals get sick. And you can't focus on the couple that are sick. You need to focus on the farm as a unit, So, there's things that happen like culling, and there's things that happen like, choosing that an animal is no longer good for breeding and might be better as shepherd's pie. I'm making that choice in a couple of days about one of my older ewes. Do I keep feeding her when every lamb she's had over the years has died within a couple of days and all the other lambs are fine? Do I keep feeding her when she's doesn't produce milk anymore, so I have to bottle feed those lambs that don't live? It's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking decision to make, but homesteading and farming isn't for sissies. Nobody's looking at their golden retriever and deciding whether or not they want to off it for pot pie next week. I mean, I know people that are firmly atheists and firmly pro-choice, which are two things I totally understand believing in. But they're hard and fast about science. And then when it comes to animals, they throw out all they know about nature and biology and all they know about how carnivores and omnivores and herbivores live together, and decide they're going to make up their own religion about what they're going to eat and what they're going to wear and how they're going to live and how their food's going to be produced based on morals. And that's no different than someone, hoisting a sign outside Planned Parenthood. It's just it's putting your moral beliefs into practice, which is great. But it doesn't mean it's great for everyone. Some of us depend on animals for food. I have no problem eating Jack White tacos. Not the person. Don't take that out of context. I would love to share a taco with Jack White. He's in Tennessee. I love Tennessee. A lot to think about. This is a little preachy, but it's important that we all allow us to have the relationship with animals that suits our role in their lives and their role in ours. Thanks for watching.